Good morning, students. Hope you people are good. Welcome back to science class. Students, in today's session, we will continue with the same chapter in physics, heat. Shall we start? But, students, before we start off, we shall discuss about what we have learnt in previous session. Yes, we learnt about heat, sources of heat, and then activity, then temperature, thermometer, what is the difference between the heat and temperature, and then types of thermometer like clinical thermometer and laboratory thermometer. Not only that, and how to use the thermometer and so on. Right? So, hope you understood the concept. Yes, now it's time to move towards this session. Come, let us start. Learning objectives. Students, in this session we are going to learn about transfer of heat and what are the three modes of heat, like conduction, what is conduction, and what is convection, and what is radiation, with the examples, and sea breeze and land breeze. And next, working of thermos flask. So first we will start with heat. Heat. What is heat? Students, in the previous session we learnt about heat. So heat is a form of energy that can move from the hotter object to the cooler one, isn't it? So heat energy always flows from a region of higher temperature to a region of lower temperature till both attain the same temperature, and this phenomenon is also called as transfer of heat. Students, heat can be transferred from one object to another object by three modes. So what are the three modes? Come, let us learn about that. Three modes of heat transport. Students, as I said, heat can be transferred from one object to another by three modes. So what are the three modes? Yes, conduction, convection and radiation. Conduction means energy is transferred by direct contact. Convection means energy is transferred by the movement of matter. And radiation, energy is transferred by electromagnetic radiation through space or air. So now, conduction of heat. The transfer of heat from a hot object to a less hot object when they are in contact is called conduction of heat. So here is a small activity to understand about the conduction of heat. So what are the materials required for this is metal rod, candle wax, board pin or nails, stand and then candle. So what is the method? Like fix the board pin or nails to the metal rod with wax as shown in the diagram. Then fix the rod to the stand and heat the farthest end of the rod with candle. What do you observe? Yes, nails start falling down as the wax melts after some time. So the nails near the end that is being heated fall off first, followed by the others. The pin farthest way from the end that is being heated falls off last. So when an object is heated, its molecules receive this heat energy and start vibrating faster. This vibration induces the neighboring molecules to vibrate faster too. Thus, heat is transferred from one object of an object to the other. When the rod is heated, the temperature of the rod near the heated end increases and the molecules at that end start vibrating faster. These vibrations are passed along the rod and thus heat is transferred along the length of the rod. The conduction of heat is more effective when the molecules are packed close together. Therefore, conduction is very fast in solids compared to the liquids. Why? Because in liquids the molecules are further apart. There is very little conduction. So in gases there is almost no conduction. But for heat to transfer from one body to another by conduction, two conditions have to be satisfied. What is that? The two bodies should be in contact, then the two bodies should be at different temperature. Students, what is conduction of heat? Yes, the transfer of heat from a hot object to a less hot object when they are in contact is called as conduction of heat. Now, we will check about what are conductors of heat and what are insulators of heat. Conductors and insulators. Students, in the previous class, you have learnt about conductors and insulators like good conductor and bad conductor. So, good conductor already you know, bad conductor is nothing but insulators. Materials that allow heat to be conducted easily through them are called conductors. So, metals such as iron, copper, silver and aluminium are examples of conductors. And materials that do not allow heat to be conducted through them are called insulators. Example, wood, plastic, fur and air. Students, here are some practical applications of conduction. Pans used for cooking are usually made of metals, isn't it? Such as steel, copper or aluminium, which are good conductors because their handles are made up of plastic. Plastic is a insulators. Next, cloths made of fur trap air inside them and this trapped air then acts as an insulator. It prevents heat from escaping, keeping the body warm. Now it's time to check convection. Convection of heat. Convection is the transfer of heat by the movement of particles. Convection is the primary mode of heat transfer in fluids. Fluids means like liquid and gases. This is because the molecules are loosely arranged with space between liquids and gases which allow the movement easily. So, when liquids or gases are heated, the heated molecules rise up. For example, when water is heated in a vessel, the water at the bottom gets heated first. As hot water is lighter, it rises up. The cold water and heavier water from the top of the vessel moves downwards. This process continues, setting up circulating streams of hot and cold water in a vessel, which is called as convection currents. This results in the heating up of whole water. Students, convection currents occurs in everyday life, that is land breeze and sea breeze. Come, we will enter into the world of land breeze and sea breeze. Students, as I mentioned earlier, convection also occurs in gases. So, an example of this is the formation of sea breeze and land breeze in a coastal areas. Sea breeze. During daytime, the land becomes hot faster than the sea. So, the air above land gets heated faster than the air above the sea. So, the air above land rises and cooler air from the sea rushes towards land to take its place. This cool air from the sea blowing towards land is called sea breeze. Now land breeze. So during night the land cools down much faster than the sea. So the air above the land cools faster than the air above the sea. The warmer air above the sea rises up and the cooler air above the land rushes to take its place. And this cool air that moves from land towards the sea is called land breeze. Students, in previous class, I think you have learnt about sea breeze and land breeze, isn't it? So next we will check what are the applications of convection. Application of convection current. Students, exhaust fan in kitchens are always fitted high, right? Close to the ceiling so that they can remove the hot air that rises up. Next, the ventilators. The ventilators of a room are at the top of a window or the door. This is because when the air in the room gets heated, it rises and passes out from the ventilators at the top. Now, we will learn about radiation. Radiation. Heat energy can travel in the form of waves, and these waves do not need any medium to travel. So the transfer of heat in the forms of rays or waves for which a medium is not required is called radiation. If you stand outside in the sun for some time, what you will feel? Yes, you start feeling warm, right? How does the heat energy of the sun travel to the earth and reaches us? Yes, it does so through radiation. We feel the heat from the sun even though we are not touching it, isn't it? So heat from the sun reaches us by radiation. Thus, transfer of heat by radiation does not require any medium. All hot bodies radiate heat. So the amount of heat absorbed by a body depends on its color. Dark colors absorb more radiated heat than a light colors. So this is the reason why we wear light colored clothes in summer and dark colored clothes in winter. Now we will check what are the applications of radiation. Students, now say what is radiation of heat? Yes, the transfer of heat in the form of waves from one body to another through a vacuum or a medium is called radiation. Applications of the radiation. Solar cookers trap heat from the sun which is used for cooking food, right? And the next applications of radiations are electric heaters. Students, electric heaters have a mirror behind the heating coil. The mirror reflects the heat radiated by the heating coil to the front of the heater. Warming hands in winter around a bonfire is also an application of a radiation, as you saw in the previous image. So next we will check with the working process of thermos flasks. Application of radiation. So we will see now how the thermos flasks work. A thermos flask maintains the temperature of substance kept in it. That is, it keeps a hot substance hot and a cold substance cold for a long time. Students, in your home also, I think your parents have been using this thermos flask, isn't it? So let us understand how it works. The outer casing of a thermos flask is made up of plastic or metal. Plastic, being a poor conductor of heat, acts as an insulator, preventing the heat loss through conduction. Inside it is a double-walled container made of glass or stainless steel. Both the walls are polished, so they are shiny. The space between the two walls is a vacuum. This prevents heat loss through convection, since There are no air particles to carry out the transfer of heat. The shiny surface of the walls also prevents heat loss through radiation. Students, here is a small video about the three modes of heat transfer. Come, let us watch.
When you keep an object near a burning wood, it becomes hot because of heat transfer. In this video, we will learn about different ways in which transfer of heat can take place. Heat can be transferred from one object to other by conduction, or convection, or radiation. When heat from one object gets transferred to other object by direct contact, it is known as conduction. For example, when we make tea, heat from stove gets transferred to steel pan because of direct contact, and thus this is conduction. When you iron your clothes, heat energy gets conducted from iron to clothes. In convection method, movement of particles of liquid or gas cause transfer of heat from heat source. Let's take an example of pot of water. As we heat it, water particles near the heat source gets heated first. We know that addition of heat causes increase in movement of particles, thus these particles move randomly and a relatively empty space is formed. To fill this space, particles from far areas move here. Again these particles acquire heat energy and move away. This process goes on and whole water becomes hot. In conduction and convection, there is a medium in which heat gets transferred. But there is no medium between sun and earth, still we get heat from it. When heat transfer takes place without any medium, it is called radiation. You must have seen people sitting around the fire. Here too, heat is transferred in the form of radiation. In fact, every hot body radiates heat and becomes cold. Let's take an example of boiling water on a stove. From stove, heat conducts to pot as it is directly in contact. Due to convection, all the water particles receive heat. If you bring your hand very close to side of the pot, you will feel little hotness. This is because radiation's coming from pot.
Students, now let us summarize what we have learned. Temperature. So the degree of hotness or coldness of an object is called temperature, and this temperature is measured by thermometer. So in the thermometer we have two types of thermometer. One is clinical thermometer and the other is laboratory thermometer. Next, coming to heat. Heat is a form of energy that flows from a region of higher temperature to a region of lower temperature, and heat can be transferred by three modes. One is conduction, another is convection, and the last one is radiation. Conduction, the process by which heat is transferred from the hotter region to the colder region of an object, which occurs in solids. Solids means like conductors or insulators. Next, convection, the process by which heat gets transferred from a hotter region to a cooler region by an actual movement of particles, which occurs in liquids and gases. Next is radiation, the process by which heat is transferred without any contact between the heat source and the heated object, so which occurs without a medium. So this is about the lesson. Here is a mind map, students. Please take down this mind map in your classwork. Students, go through the video once again, read the textbook. Take care, students. Thank you.